Welcome to STARCARD Podcast. Here at STARCARD Podcast, we get a glimpse at the age of Aquarius ahead of us. We also examine the worlds of education and workplace ethics. My name is Breakaway Ray. I like talking about breaking away from this civilization and joining the breakaway civilizations up above. Also, I'm Breakaway Ray, and I'm your favorite insomniac tarot card throwing master of ceremonies, bringing you a voice of the war on spiritual poverty from the headquarters of the Theater of Operations here at STARCARD Podcast. Did you know you have God inside of you? Did you know you could do magic? Did you know you can connect with the spirit world anytime in many ways? Whether your answers were yes or no, you're in the right place. This is STARCARD Podcast, and you know what else? I got 4 cards for you. Whether you're watching live or catching this recording later, these 4 cards have a message for you from the tarot world. Let's get ready to go to the tarot cam. All right. I want to say good morning to everyone, wherever you are, whenever you are. Thanks for tuning in to STARCARD Podcast. And of course, I want to say good morning and hello to the tarot world, who makes my ears ring most of the time that I'm awake. It gives me pleasant and exciting and interesting dreams. Hey, tarot world. I got a lot of friends watching right now. And how about 4 cards to send them on their fun way? Maybe you have a helpful, fun message that we could share today for whenever these STARCARD Podcast viewers check in. 4 cards for the audience, please. Ooh, there's one. Here's another one. 4 cards for you, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for tuning in. Let's get going. This is for entertainment purposes only. First up, the Knight of Swords. What an encouraging card to get. To start off right away, right? Start off energetically. Let's read what it says on the Knight of Swords. Ambitious, action-oriented, driven to succeed, fast-thinking, and defending beliefs. So I like that action-oriented thing. It reminds me of, I think it's the 3rd law of karma, that, you have to act on things if you want your world to change. You have to be active. You can't be passive. Right. So go get them, everybody. Wait, we still got 3 more cards. Yeah, you can make your own magic. Go for it. Who's stopping you? Next up, keep going, says the Chariot card. Nice. In the 7 of Swords, a message that's been coming through recently is act strategically. And I would even refine that statement and say act with efficiency. Don't waste your effort. Think twice and act once. How do they say in the business of carpentry? Measure twice, cut once. Well, here you go, ladies and gentlemen. 4 cards in a hurry just for you. Be energetic. Be aware of and use your magic. Keep going. Go forward. Remember that law of karma. You have to do stuff. And then, be efficient about it. Be strategic. Have forethought. But also, it's not everybody's business. Keep it to yourself. All right. Thank you, Tarot World. That was great. Wow. Within 5 minutes, we're already well on our way. So today, I'm going to continue. I'm going to continue with the science lesson as I described in the post, maybe even in the description. There we go. So, right, I'm going to follow along with all those things I said in the description and in the post. But first of all, I want to give a quick tarot lesson again. Now, I realize I've only been doing tarot since March, so who am I to teach? But, if you're an expert in tarot, then you can say to yourself, you know what? The tarot world, the tarot decks are available to everybody. So I want to hear how some other person does it. Because just like fingerprints, just like DNA, everybody's got a different style and a different imprint. So I'm going to share with you what I learned about getting in touch right away with the spirit world through the tarot cards. And I'm going to do that with a biography. I'm going to invite the tarot world to help us with a biography of someone that we, in general, it's hard to find many people who don't like this person. Chances are this person has made you laugh. He's a great filmmaker, and I think if he's not in his 80s, he's probably in his 90s. And outwardly, he's constantly happy and cheerful, and he makes people laugh, like I mentioned before. He had a very healthy, happy marriage to his deceased wife, and I think that was Anne Bancroft. That's according to his son. His son is actually a filmmaker. I think he made a movie about zombies once, or he wrote a book about it, excuse me. So I'm speaking, of course, of Mel Brooks. And when we think of Mel Brooks, one of the first movies we think of is Blazing Saddles. Blazing Saddles. Okay. And so anyway, yeah, a lot of people think of Blazing Saddles right away. Oh, yeah, Young Frankenstein with Gene Wilder. Great, great movie. But wait, I got a list of movies. I want to make sure I got them in order here. I have a list of movies. Must be on the other page. Oh, here it is. Okay, so let's go through them again. I'm pretty sure I can remember what I was going to talk about. I'm not quite sure what's going on with my notes. Anyway, so yeah, we talked about Blazing Saddles. We talked about Blazing Saddles. We talked about Young Frankenstein. Two of my favorite movies by Mel Brooks are Silent Movie. I have all the dialogue from that movie memorized. Silent Movie, and then the other one was High Anxiety. And High Anxiety was Mel Brooks's spoof on movies by Alfred Hitchcock. And I got to say, really enjoy how he works with people like Gene Wilder and Marty Feldman. And I want to say Madeline Kahn. That lady is so under-remembered. She was so hilarious and so talented. She made a lot of appearances in Mr. Brooks's movies. But then, you know what? Why pick Mel Brooks? Hey, Breakaway Ray, because does that have anything to do with the content of our show, STARCARD Podcast? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say he has a secret space program tie. Anyone see the movie Spaceballs? That's soft disclosure, Mel Brooks style, right? And then also it goes right along with STARCARD Podcast and talking about the old world. How about History of the World Part 1? Hey, you know what? I could have just stuck with History of the World Part 1 because if you remember the very end of the movie, History of the World Part 1, epilogue about what was going to come in the next movie, which I don't remember they ever made, but it was a little sketch called Jews in Space. More soft disclosure. Makes me want to sing the song. We're Jews out in space, zooming along, protecting the human race. You guys remember that one? And they were flying in a spaceship shaped like the Star of David. Okay, well done, Mel Brooks. So anyway, getting back to how we're going to tie it into tarot. So I want to demonstrate that it is very easy to get in touch with the spirit world. It's all around us all the time. You're tuning in to STARCARD Podcast, and you see me do this all the time every morning, right? So right now, I'm going to invite the tarot world to give us a biography timeline, please, of Mel Brooks, someone a lot of us can be very well acquainted with. We know he got, I don't know if he was around for radio. I think he might have been around for radio. He was there for early television, great filmmaker, the TV in the 50s and 60s for sure, movie maker in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. So anyway, he's got a long, well-known career. He's a public figure. So I'm not like being intrusive. I'm just asking the tarot world to give us a biography on him, on public information, okay? I'm not inviting his consciousness in to talk to us, okay? I want to give that guy his piece. He needs some time to make his jokes, okay? His jokes are better than mine, and I learn from him, right? But then, with the tarot world, let's see if we can't see a little picture, a little biography, a little timeline of Mel Brooks's inner world. Why not? Because, that's what psychics do, not to elaborate too much, right? But there is one thing we should keep in mind when we're talking about comedians, and that is that some of the best comedians turn out to be very tortured individuals. they had tough times, and that's why they can turn things into a joke. That's how they cope and push through, right? So I don't recall any information about Mel Brooks having any challenges. Maybe he grew up poor or something like that. That might have done something like that. Nevertheless, let's keep that part in mind. And also how, when you go see a comedian or when you're watching a comedian do his or her act, it makes you laugh, and that's therapeutic. And laughter is like some of the best medicine, right? Sunlight is the best disinfectant. Laughter is the best medicine. Go outside, sit in the sun, and tell some jokes. All right, so anyway, we're going to go back down to the tarot cam, and we're going to take a look at the inside and outside biographies of Mr. Mel Brooks, great filmmaker and comedian. He's still alive, and that's kind of important to what I want to do today also. And then, by the way, we will get to audience readings in the second part of the show. If you hit the top fans button, I'm going to automatically think that you want a reading, because I don't read the chat till after the show. And when I'm looking at the chat for readings, those numbers show up, and that helps me right away see who needs a reading. But by the way, in case the button's been hit 3 times and you can't click on top fans, please write in all capital letters, tarot, please. It makes it easier for me to see. I don't want to miss anybody. I'm trying to help out. So thanks a lot for tuning in and cooperating and being patient while I step all over my lines. Let's go to the tarot cam. Okay. Yeah, and after we do this timeline biography, a dual timeline biography of Mel Brooks, okay, I got some more science lesson, don't I? Yeah. We're going to do the inside second. That'll be like the surprise, right? And the outside is the control. Most of us had a general idea about the great celebrity and fun person, Mel Brooks. Fun guy, right? In Silent Movie, his name was Mr. Fun. And I remember Bernadette Peters walking in the boardroom asking a group of gentlemen, which one of you is fun? All the gentlemen stood up, but of course, only the Mel Brooks character was named Fun, F-U-N-N. Okay, so hey, Tarot World, thanks for that immediate, fun, energetic, encouraging opening message today. And now, could you help play along with me here? I'd like to share with everybody a dual timeline of Mr. Mel Brooks. Could you please give us a picture of his outer world and his inner world? Thank you very much. I appreciate your help, Tarot World. I know you enjoy doing this too. Ooh, there's a card popping out there. My eyes are closed. I'm just setting this aside for right now. I'm going to keep on passing out cards here. So this is for Mel Brooks, the outer world. Mel Brooks, outer world. And then Mel Brooks, inner world, please. Yeah. So I thought I was going to throw 4 cards. I ended up throwing 3 each way. And then we got this bonus card sticking out over here. And weirdly, it looks like it's reversed to you. I wonder if there's some kind of clue in there. Well, number one, this is for entertainment purposes only, right? This is the row that I really care about, because I'm trying to demonstrate here on our show that the spirit world's around us the whole time. And all we have to do is think about communicating with it and build our relationship with it, right? But anyway, I only like to turn cards upside down because I like turning frowns upside down and turning negatives into positives and things. This guy looks like he's reversed to you. So I wonder if there's a reverse message here on the 7 of Cups. The 7 of Cups talks about opportunities and choices, but let's take a look at what it says on the reverse 7 of Cups. Maybe there's another clue for us here. Alignment, personal values, overwhelmed by choices, lack of purpose, fantasy, illusion, diversion, and confusion. Well, if the reverse 7 of Cups were to really send us a message, one of them might be alignment, because I'm asking for 2 timelines, an inside timeline and an outside timeline. So I'm asking for alignment. I guess I can make it simple like that. But you could also say, you know what, Ray, the words illusion and fantasy and confusion and even diversion might apply. So I guess it depends on your perspective, who's deluded and having fantasies, Breakaway Ray. Anyway, let's go with the alignment one for first, right? So the outside world, what we generally know about Mel Brooks. What? That's not what we really know. Okay, the devil imagery is really striking to me anyway, even though I should be familiar with this card by now. But the devil card does talk about the shadow self. And let's think very carefully about the content of Mel Brooks's work. Maybe you remember a particular musical number from, I think, was it The Producers? And it was springtime in Germany, and they were ice skating. Maybe you remember that scene. Or what about History of the World Part 1 and the Inquisition? You know what? A lot of us learned about the Inquisition from Mel Brooks to begin with. How do you start with the Inquisition and make it palatable, even in a history class? Mel Brooks, unfortunately or fortunately, made it entertaining. So Mel Brooks is not scared of this card. Okay, he tackles everybody head on, including what you would call, racist situations in the movie Blazing Saddles, right? Yeah, okay. Like I see where that card comes from. What else you got for us, Tarot World? That's quite a good start. I'm getting like goosebumps on the back of my neck right now. Okay. Oh, so this is the Nine of Swords, and the Nine of Swords talks about insomnia and anxiety, sleeplessness and worry and fear and things like that. And everyone who watches STARCARD Podcast knows I like taking the Nine of Swords and turning it upside down. Because, isn't that what he's doing with the shadow self and the devil, right? He's turning it upside down, and we're poking fun at it, and we're making ourselves equals with it, and we're looking at it eye to eye, right? And then with the Nine of Swords, again, we're going to take these worries and pains, and we're going to turn them upside down. Upside down is like the theme this morning on this biography. Let's see, releasing worry and hope and reaching out. When you're making a movie about these topics and you're addressing basically a social pain, a social trauma, like what happened during World War II or the Inquisition or the Roman Empire, or in the future in space, okay? When you're taking that and you're turning it into jokes, and you're not only educating and you're making it palatable, but you're helping us deal with the trauma. Mel Brooks is turning everything upside down that we want turned upside down. He's taking our frowns and turning them upside down. Yeah, with his new ideas and his truth. There's the Ace of Swords with his cinematic magic. Okay, so now we that is a pretty sophisticated throw. Starting with the reverse Seven of Cups. Let's turn them upside down there for you. Okay, that's pretty sophisticated. Bravo, Tarot World. All right, so now, if we could confirm all this stuff and we feel pretty good about things so far, then we might learn something about the inside world of Mel Brooks that most of us probably have no idea about. So let's see what's happening. Thanks, Tarot World. We're having fun. New ideas, new ways of communicating, right? Look at the inside. You're not just basing it on what someone says and what you think they're feeling, you're accessing another way to learn about someone. And it's hidden, says the Seven of Swords. You got the Page of Swords and then the Seven of Swords. The inside world is hidden from us. All right, but what about Mel Brooks? He is a communicator. We don't see his inside world. Okay. Well, the Death card indicates change and transformation. Kind of goes along with the theme of my elaboration up here in the outer world. Taking those, taking those challenging subjects and ideas and traumas, using communication, turning them upside down, transforming them. So his new ways of communicating, however he got there, it's hidden to us. The fact is, we see the proof on the outside. He is aligned, said the Seven of Cups. Okay, he's following his soul's path. Hey, you could decide for yourself whether or not I illustrated my point. I am sure pleased if you were there to witness me doing it. I hope it comes out in the recording. I'm going to give these cards a toss, And then I'm going to talk about monoclonal reproduction. Thank you, Mel Brooks. Thank you, Terra World. Here we go. Let me give you the quick toss. Hey, that wasn't your normal kind of card throwing for me. Even today, that felt a little fresh and exciting. Let's see here. Let's come back up to the head cam. I'll be looking at my notes, so I apologize if the eye contact is off for a little bit. Just want to make sure I stay organized and efficient, right? So today we're talking about cloning, and we're going to start by reminding everyone about the Anunnaki. I wish I could be reminding more people, but most of us have never heard of the Anunnaki. We know that they were Sumerian gods back in Babylonia, before Babylonia, thousands and thousands of years. Was it a story? Was it a legend? Well, turns out the Anunnaki, I'm not even going to say probably. This is STARCARD Podcast. We still have freedom of expression. I clicked the entertainment button before I went live. The Anunnaki are a species that created humans, the version that we are now. We're the 7th round of human beings. We got mixture in our body of alien species, at least 22 different non-terrestrial species, perhaps. These are all the crazy things I hear when I listen to videos on YouTube and on Rumble. So the Anunnaki started it all. They needed gold so that they could put it in their atmosphere after they messed up their own planet. Sounds familiar, like father, like son, all right? Okay, so they created creatures down here on Earth to mine for gold. And we should all be laughing at ourselves when people just show gold fever. And how often has gold fever played a part in our history? From the gold rushes in the Yukon to California, north and south. There were gold rushes just about everywhere. And basically, it was just like a precious metal. No one was thinking, apparently back then, we needed for electronics, or we needed to rehabilitate our atmosphere or things like that. We would just have like this irrational desire for gold because we're caught in this money system, where we have to have money in order to have freedom. That's what they want us to believe, right? Your freedom comes from the inside. Okay, you're a creator. You have magic. You can do these things. So anyway, we start with the Anunnaki manipulating DNA, and then we move on to Atlantis. So, it's hard, I would say, to even come by information about Atlantis. So much of our history has been scrubbed and sanitized and left out and omitted. I mean, a famous example would be leaving out the book of Enoch from the Bible. And again, most people may not even know about the book of Enoch. It only talks about how Enoch went on a spaceship, okay, and he learned about off-world technology. So, of course, they're not going to put that in the Bible. You might as well take out reincarnation while you're at it, right? Because that's going to mess up everything, if you're the Roman Catholic Church and you try to keep people organized and you're trying to control their minds. Now, I was raised Roman Catholic. I'm culturally a Roman Catholic. I am not picking on Roman Catholics. I'm referring to the Council of Nicaea, which was supposedly about 1,000 years ago, when they removed reincarnation from the dogma and doctrine of the church, and they removed the book of Enoch, among other books, from the Bible. So again, we're talking about omitted knowledge. So we were mentioning Atlantis, and if you hear any stories about Atlantis, you know that they were into manipulating DNA, and they were making chimeras back then. The word chimera, chimera, chimera is a mixture of two creatures. At least two creatures, right? They were mixing DNA together. Does it sound outrageous? It's not that outrageous. Let me continue. Okay, and that was thousands upon thousands of years ago in Atlantis. They were already doing that. So in the 1990s, I believe it was the 1990s, they made an announcement that they cloned the sheep Dolly. So if you're not old enough, you might want to, look it up on your computer, Dolly the sheep. Possibly cloned, probably cloned, certainly cloned. Okay, so anyway, they cloned the sheep, and then right when that happened, they said, you know what, we're going to outlaw and ban cloning. So it was like a way of saying, we're being morally responsible, and we're treating this special technology with respect. And you know what, everyone agrees it's a good idea, not to use this technology and play God with cloning technology. It's kind of like, it reminds me of how all the nations of the world agree. We are not going to go down to the continent of Antarctica, Okay, we're not going to do to it what we do to all the other continents on Earth, with our mining and our development and things like that. We're going to leave it for the penguins and leave it, according to Mother Nature as much as we can. Everyone's just going to stay away from Antarctica. We can leave that one alone. Now, upon reflection, having learned more about how World War II probably ended, I'm going to say did end, okay, an Operation Paperclip and Antarctic Germans, I now understand why everyone made an agreement. Let's all just stay away from Antarctica. Doesn't that sound like a nice idea? Let's be nice to Antarctica, the continent, and planet Earth. We don't need to go down there and dump our trash too. What's going to bother the penguins? So anyway, where was I? Okay, we talked about Dolly, okay? And then recently, certainly in the last couple of decades, it's been in the news about, culturing and cloning cells to make organs. So instead of having a transplant, you would take some cells from a person, right? And then develop those cells in a petri dish and grow them, okay? But then, how far away is that from all the stuff we see in TV shows and movies where, they're cloning someone and there's an umbilical tube and they're like in a cylinder with a liquid in it and they're growing a person, okay? This is not science fiction. Again, it's been around since Atlantis, okay? And then that leads me to, there's something called a CRISPix, CRISPIX. Heard about a couple of times. And it does DNA modification. And there's even a story, at least once I heard, where you could have a device like this, if you have an apartment, you could have a device like this in your refrigerator, and you could be, like if you're scientifically bent, you could be experimenting with DNA on an insect or some kind of bacterial organism or something just in your refrigerator, just if you want to experiment and you happen to be good at that stuff. And that sounds kind of scary because it doesn't seem like there's any oversight. Nevertheless, I do believe it's out there. This is not technology that's hard to come by. It's rather simple once you understand the science, which as a teacher, I'm telling you, we're not learning about in school. That's not something, we're trained in to teach children, that is to say. So there's a nice tie. There was something that tied this all together with the secret society that exists around our planet. You would call them the controllers. Some people know that they practice what are called Satanic rituals, okay? And this person pointed out, actually, there was a couple of people that did this for me. I'm not going to say any names, but certainly one of them was on the Imagination podcast, where they were taking, let's just say, cells from somebody, and they were culturing them, and they were actually making teeth. And why make teeth? I guess that has something to do with their rituals. But, we have very sophisticated dentistry around the world right now. But not too often do you hear about them growing new teeth for you. But if you can regrow liver cells, why can't you grow teeth cells? Okay? If you can regrow a whole sheep, how come you can't grow a tooth? Okay? It can be done. It's just being hidden from us. And the most secret technology, the most beneficial, is in the hands of the most secret part of our society, which it's not safe to talk about right now, but if you're tuned into STARCARD podcast, you know who I'm talking about. Okay, so with all that in mind, I know the tarot world heard my big long speech and my big discussion about how omnipresent cloning and cloning technology is. Okay, they even made a movie about it. So, for example, it was the Wayans brothers. Even in the title of the movie, it was like somebody got cloned or they cloned somebody. And if you got one Wayans brother in the movie, there's probably more than one Wayans brother. But it's all about how they clone like the main character. I never saw the movie, and there were like 6 of them, but they were all kind of like dumbed down a little bit, I guess, because their consciousness was spread so thin. Sounds familiar? Okay, that's not like a science fiction idea, because there's at least one secret space programmer who says, yeah, if you go to any of these cities, right? Just think about if you're in the United States, think about those state capitals, and why don't you go to My Lunch Break or Old World Exploration and check out those state capitals, because not only are they amazing above ground, but it's very likely there's a mirror image of it underground with tunnels that connect to other nearby old world buildings. And there's many, there's countless testimonies about underground cloning facilities. And I don't think that this is happening just because we're all deluded together and we're all making this stuff up, okay? There's hundreds upon hundreds of those testimonies that you could find online for sure. It's opening up my eyes. Look at how wide open my eyes are now. It's not even 5 a.m. out here. So anyway, having spoken about all that, I'm going to ask the Tarot World to comment on the cloning situation, because my whole angle is, like yesterday, we talked about how do you vacate a city, remove the original inhabitants so that a new group can come in. Okay, one way might be with the neutron bomb. Another way might be through a mud flood. Another way might be through other kinds of energy weapons. If you want to see damage from energy weapons, please check the description and go to the Howdy McCoskey video. It's 20 minutes. That'll blow your mind. But anyway, let's head down to the tarot cam now. And this will be my last throw. And then we'll head to the second part of the show and we'll do readings for the audience. I am so happy to see so many people in the chat. Thanks a lot for joining me this morning. I salute you loyal watchers. I'm so excited. And I really appreciate your support. And I also want to say thank you so much to subscribers. So let's go to the tarot cam here. Hey, Tarot World. Could we talk a little bit more about cloning and repopulating cities in the way that we discussed yesterday? I mean, just industrial cloning operations to replace whole populations. And this week we're going to be talking about the orphan trains and the incubators. Now, incubators, I used to think that was like modern technology there in the late 20th century, but it turns out in the late 19th century we had incubators at the World's Fairs with babies in them. And that's pretty remarkable to have incubators in the late 1800s, when you just invented power tools in 1895. Now all of a sudden you have incubators. Wow. And then the orphan trains. Where did all those children come from? Wow. Very interesting stuff to think about. Again, I refer you to the description. I've got a nice list of videos and a featured video that talks about this stuff. And some of this stuff, frankly, is quite new to me. So thank you, Tarot World, for helping us understand a little bit more about cloning, especially on an industrial scale, when it comes to repopulating cities. I mean, is that something that's real? Or is Breakaway Ray getting carried away again? And also, are there clones on Earth right now? Could there be someone tuning in right now that is a clone? Is Breakaway Ray a clone? You know what? If Chris O'Connor were here, he'd say, there's a good chance of it, and so what? I'm a clone too. There's a secret space program experiencer named Daryl, and his original body is on Mars. Just his skeleton by now, and he's in a clone body. I mean, number one, how would any of us know? And well, you'd have to go inward, right? You'd have to ask the spirit world, check with your higher self. How would any of us know? Number one, and what difference does it make? It's your consciousness that's immortal. It's your soul that's immortal, and you're just basically getting a new vehicle. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's see what the Tarot World has to say. The Tarot World has put just as much thought into what the Tarot World wants to say as I put thought into what I want to say, even if I'm stumbling over my lines. All right, as much as you can imagine regarding cloning, as much as you can imagine, the Temperance card. I beg your pardon, the Judgment card. This is exactly right. Check this out. As much as you can imagine, that everyone knows that that's my code for the Eight of Swords. As much as you can imagine, the Judgment card, swapping out what no longer serves and bringing in a new batch. And check it out. The angel is blowing the horn, and look, there's all the new bodies coming out. All the new bodies are coming out of the ground. I think we're in the right ballpark here. I think I just hit a good golf shot. I think I got a chance to make birdie here. Okay. Whoa. The high priestess. Yeah, because we're talking about sacred knowledge and the subconscious. Sacred knowledge, cloning is like sacred knowledge. Most of us don't know about it. We never hear about it in school. And it's quite common, actually, right? And it's all about the subconscious. You're moving the consciousness of one individual from vehicle to vehicle. And the Ace of Cups is talking about how you get a new body, right? You get a new vehicle. We just talked about that. Here, look at the Ace of Cups. It says, new baby. There you go. That's all you need. New baby. As much as you can imagine, yeah, that population swap is going on. It's sacred knowledge where people get a new body. Right. The whole world comes crumbling down, perhaps in a reset. And then, as if guided by a divine hand to calmer waters, people get a new life. And we get a new society, and you can program them the way you want. It'll always feel like something's missing if there's mind control involved, which is why I'm here, everybody. I'm Breakaway Ray. Let's expand our consciousness together. That's the 4 cups. So in conclusion, the Ace of Swords, all right. Got a lot of truth there. The Ace of Swords says mental clarity, breakthroughs, new ideas, success, sharp mind, new conflict, and let's face it, surgery. You're talking about, recreating a human body. And then the 4 of Pentacles says, well, I guess maybe it's expensive, maybe more expensive than I thought. I was guessing, like if you're a billionaire, a clone probably costs about $80,000. Okay, it can't be that expensive. But I guess you got to add in like the security and the secrecy, and the transportation, and you got to do maintenance on it like any kind of vehicle. So I guess it can be pretty expensive to do on your own. But but as far as a whole reset, it sounds like it's something that probably happens according to the way I read the tarot cards. Maybe you got a different reading. Anyway, it sure was fun. I'm sure glad I woke up this morning and threw cards like this. That's cool. Looks like our chat is quite active. That's very exciting for me. I get a little extra reading material. I went almost 40 minutes. Let's check out who wants a reading. I think I saw Judy, Mrs. NW5. I think she wants a reading. Thanks, Judy, for requesting a reading and tuning in as always. Really appreciate your participation and everybody's participation. I'm getting my paper and pen. All right. So number 1. Oh, Julia's here. Hi, Julia. Yeah, I was just talking about clones. So Julia, and then Judy, and then let's see. Let me get my mouse. Oh, number 3, Maria Madrigal. Good morning, Maria. Thanks for joining me again. All right. I'm going to quickly look for like the tarot, please. Oh, Julia just wants 1 card. Great. That helps, Julia. Thanks for the capital letters, everybody. Let's see if there's anyone else I might add to my list. Thank you, Judy. I appreciate being able to tell you about my imaginative theories and what I'm learning about. Yeah, by the way, Judy, thank you very much. I was thinking about that earlier, how Mel Brooks is like a one-man Monty Python's Flying Circus, right? Thanks for mentioning that. I appreciate that. Hey, hello, Mr. A. Mr. A, nice to meet you. Thanks for joining us in the chat. Let me see if there's anyone else. I'm looking again for card. Yeah, I got Judy. Anyone else for a reading? If I miss you, one of our friends in the chat, they're so kind. They will show some leadership and they'll remind me, hey, Breakaway Ray, this person also wants a reading. Anyway, we'll get you. We got time. I'm trying to find you if anyone's asking for a reading. Okay. All right. Oh, hey, it's Alar. Okay. Hey, Mr. A. Good to see you. Welcome back. All right. Oh, Maria, no reading. Okay. All right. No problem, Maria. Thank you very much. Thanks for updating me. Okay, so let's go back down to the tarot cam. How wonderful. Well, you know what? I'll go back to the tarot cam in a minute. I know people want to check out my pumpkin. I'm going to have a drink. Time out. I got good wheels on this chair, but it's still a heavy chair. Okay, first on my list was Julia. Want one card. Oh, Namira. Namira, I always see your flowers, so that helps me. Namira, I'll write you down for one card. Okay. Yeah, very good, Mr. A. Right on. Okay. All right, so again, Julia wants one card. Here we go. Oh, wow. Have a nice group watching right now. I mean, I'm looking at the quantity. It was up at 9 and now it's at 7. That's pretty exciting. Who would have thought at 5:30 in the morning I'd be able to talk to 7 people without commuting? Johnny Anderson's in the house. I'm gonna have to write down Johnny's name. Hey, Johnny. Yeah, we'll get you a card. Right on, bro. All right. Let's try this again. We're gonna get one card for Julia. Whoa. Sorry, Julia. I got a little tower card going here myself. That's better. No, it's not. All right. Hey, Tarot World. Thanks for that exciting lesson on cloning and repopulating cities around planet Earth. I got an easy one for you. Remember our friend Julia out there in England? You got a card. You can show her, please. Thank you very much. How about a card for our friend Julia? Card for our friend Julia, please. Hey, there's a nice one. It's the 6 of Cups. It's the nostalgia card. I'll read to you all the clues on the card. Familiarity, happy memories, reminiscing, childhood memories, innocence, joy, and nostalgia. Of course, with today's theme, memories would be key. Not just your memories, but maybe some other people's memories that you share. Anyway, thank you very much, Julia. I always appreciate you inviting me to read. You're welcome. Next up, it's a reading for Judy. So I don't remember if Judy actually asked for one card. Is that something I said? Anyway, I'm going to throw a few cards for you then, Judy, unless you correct me. That's fine. Happy to throw cards for you, Judy. Thanks a lot. I'm happy to throw cards. Oh, pretty happy card thrower. All right, but these cards are for Judy. Let's get some nice, helpful, fun cards for Judy. Also out in the UK. Thanks for tuning in, Judy. I got to thank everybody for sharing their positive energy. I got to admit, it makes a difference for me where I'm at too. But these cards are for Judy. All right. How about some fun cards for Judy? Yeah, nice. All right. Well, if these cards are not fun and entertaining and inspirational, I'm going to try and make it so. Here we go, Judy. All right, the Four of Swords indicates rest and rejuvenation. Wow, you always got to have a cycle of rest. Okay, and we'll look at more balance going here. You're resting, and also there's the Six of Pentacles. It's the giving and taking. There are other people involved with the giving and taking. I mean, for sure, you might be on task and then taking a break, but at the same time, I get the impression that the giving and taking really does happen with other people you're interacting with. Taking it easy with other people. And then justice arrives. Well, that's cause and effect. You get what you put into it. I feel like I'm a little embarrassed to speak about this because I know I'm speaking to other grown-ups, and indeed, a lot of you are more experienced than me in lots of ways. Certainly in the world of life, and some of you are more educated than I am, and many of you know more about the invisible spirit world than I do. But this sounds like a simple message of cause and effect. We treat others the way we want to be treated. For sure, there's some people who are never going to treat us the way we treat them. But then that's when justice comes in. We can't be worried about, making things right with someone that you can't make something right with. You know what? That's up to the universe. That's when you say, you know what? I'm not throwing in the white flag. I'm simply going to ask the universe to address it. I'm going, yo, you guys see what's happening over here? I could use some help, please. Next, wow, look at this guy showing up again. It's the Seven of Swords. He talks about acting strategically and that something is hidden. Just that whole diplomatic presentation of oneself, treat them like they're a dignitary of state. And then all of a sudden, they might treat you with a certain amount of deference, but that doesn't mean you have to let them in on your secret, just make it like natural. I mean, I'm making up a story for myself here. Maybe these are good lessons for me, Judy. Well, the Strength card, it's very hidden. Something's hidden. There's really something hidden there, huh? Is that what it is? Well, whatever's hidden, okay, there's a dream come true involved, says the Ten of Cups. Wow. Oh, yeah, the King of Pentacles. All right, it's fun and helpful and inspirational. The King of Pentacles talks about wealth. Let's read what else it says here. Wealth, business, leadership, security, discipline, abundance, prosperity, and generosity. There's something that's really hidden. It sounds like it's a lottery ticket because your dream is going to come true. And then you're going to be sitting there like the King of Pentacles. What was the word that I liked there? Leadership and discipline, as well as abundance. Anyway, Judy, I hope that these cards were helpful or fun. I know you always think about everything in the world around you, not just what's on my show, because for sure, if we really do live in a matrix, everything around us is a message to us created by our higher selves and projected into the world around us. All right. Thank you for your thank you, Judy. And I'm glad to hear about the positive changes. Phew. I'm smiling too. I'm sweating, but I'm also smiling. That's great. And you know what? It's still hot out here. Can you believe it was like 86 degrees out here Fahrenheit? What is that? Like 32 degrees centigrade Europeans? Okay. I got to check my list again. That was Judy. And now, oh yeah, Namira wants one card and Johnny wants one card. Nice. No problem. Wow, Namira, you've been around like at least since August. You were one of the very first people to come out to the show. I really appreciate you showing up with the flowers in your name there. That's pretty cool. It's always good to see you, Namira. So I'm going to invite the Tarot World to give you a special card. It's a card's going to make your day. Or it's going to give you something to think about all day. But either way, it's going to be positive and helpful, and somehow it's going to be fun. Right? All right. How about a nice card for our friend Namira, please? Here we go. For the mirror. Oh, it's the King of Wands. It's the big picture card. And the King of Wands says, natural leader, visionary, entrepreneur, big picture, overcoming challenges, mature, and career focused. I'm thinking about a young person in my life who's just getting started as a grown-up, and it feels like I can help that person by letting them know, my experience and pointing them in the direction of stuff that I actually know about. And I'm just sharing my own perspective, Namira. I'm sure when I read the terms on the card for you, you already knew what the message was. Yeah, you're very welcome. Okay, I open my eyes. Oh, Namira's in the Netherlands. I didn't remember that. I went to Amsterdam and Volendam. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. All right, very cool. Thank you very much, Namira. And Johnny wants a card. Yeah, we're rocking the house with Europeans today in the chat. Sweet. No Australians. What, am I up too early for the Australians? I'm just teasing Australians. I love you guys. All right, how about a card for Johnny, please? All right. Thank you very much. A nice, fun, helpful card for Johnny, please. Johnny out in Scandinavia. All right. A card for Johnny, please. The Six of Swords says you're being guided into calmer waters by a divine hand. I mean, what, are things going your way? Or even if something kind of negative shows up, there always seems to be a silver lining for you. That's kind of cool. Like, I don't know. It's like you lost or you misplaced something is the bad news, but the good news is now you're not responsible for it. All right, no, you let it go. Let's read what it says. Yeah, you're welcome, Johnny. Let me read the words for you too while I'm at it. Transition, change, leaving behind, releasing baggage, and moving on. Yeah, right on, Johnny. Thank you very much. I don't know if anyone else, am I done with my list? I'm done with my list. If there's anyone who wants a reading, you got like 15 seconds to request it. All right. Hey, everybody. You can do magic. I live way out here in California. I'm not even on the same continent as some of you people, and you made me smile already first thing in the morning before most people even had breakfast. So I want you to have a good day as well, and we'll finish up our science lessons this week. We're in a groove, right? So I want to remind you as you go through your day, don't forget to look up in the sky so you can see your star. Have a great day. My name is Breakaway Ray. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.